Let us for a few moments focus our attention on the Divine Master whose spiritual instructions we are meditating upon. Let us pray to Him to make our spiritual endeavors a success. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishna te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us offer our salutations to the Divine Master whose life itself is a great teaching to all of us, whose life is practical demonstration of spirituality, who has made spiritual path very clear for all of us, who has resolved all the conflicts that come in the way of our life, the Supreme Incarnate, who came to raise the humanity from the tamasic state, who tried to give them spiritual joy, who gave Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda to the world to follow their guidance. All spiritual treasure we will get. We are sure to get peace of mind. We are sure to enjoy the true happiness in the life. To have the experience of spiritual joy, we must disentangle ourselves with the world. If we try to compromise with the world, we are deceiving ourselves. We can't move at all in spiritual path as long as we are anchored to the world. We should disengage ourselves with the world. No more worldly thoughts, no more worldly business, no more worldly activities. No more worldly cleanliness. We must turn completely to Divine Master. Then only we have the capacity to understand and assimilate the spiritual teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. As long as our mind is clinging on to this world, we will be in darkness. We will be in tamas. We will be always in the asat. We are far away from Jyoti, the divine light. So, to see that divine light in our heart, we have to rise ourselves from tamasic state. So Sri Ramakrishna suggests, practice renunciation. Don't be scared away by the word renunciation. Renunciation means disentangling yourself with worldly ways and worldly things and worldly activities. The mind gets destroyed if it is engaged in the ephemeral things. Mind becomes more and more impure. It becomes more and more hard, very hard, like a stone, very difficult to make the mind soft afterwards. Engaging ourselves in the world means we are hardening the mind. So Sri Ramakrishna warns, practice renunciation. Without renunciation there can be no faith nor devotion. Renunciation is of the first importance. Spirituality begins with renunciation. It destroys all ego. What is meant by renunciation according to Sri Ramakrishna? Does it mean that we stop eating onion, we stop eating meat, we stop eating fish? Does it mean that way? It is nothing. What must be renounced is lust and greed. The more we practice this wonderful quality of renunciation of lust and greed, it becomes easy for us to make God the sole treasure. What is the meaning of renunciation? Again Sri Ramakrishna tells, give up everything for the Lord. Make Him your own. He is your everything. Father, mother, friend. Turn your whole mind on Him. Then you will see the beauty of God. Then you will enjoy the glory of God. Then you will understand the spirituality. Yoga and bhoga. Yoga means union with God. Bhoga means sensual cravings. They cannot go together. If any desire is left in the mind, the spirit of renunciation cannot come. Of course, all people will not relish this idea of renunciation as long as they desire to enjoy the world. It means it comes through enjoyment, but then tempered with discrimination. We cannot deceive God. He sees all. If we love anything else than God and do not renounce all for Him, we cannot realize Him. Our renunciation becomes complete when all the ideas of I and mine vanish. They get dissolved. When the bird flies in the sky, it can fly with two wings. So also, when we are flying in the spiritual path, we must have two wings One is the wing of discrimination, Vichar Shakti, and second is renunciation, Tyaga Shakti. Tyaga. Tyage naike amrtatva manashu. Only through renunciation, immortality is realized. Then only we can climb to the edifice of liberation. If we cultivate real discrimination and renunciation, we are safe. An example is given. A man runs after water in a mirage only so long as he mistakes the mirage to real water. Once the delusion is broken, nobody goes after a mirage or water. Lust and gold, sex impulse, these are all the short expressions denoting the same thing. If one gives up these enjoyments, one verily renounces the world. The roots of these cravings must be uprooted from the mind. That is renunciation. One who can do this, indeed, sets at naught the whole world. We see manifold universe. So many things we see in this world. We are in the realm of duality, but it is nothing. It has come only from the heart. It vanishes if one will only shake it off with a will. If one doesn't hate the approach of any thought of it in the mind, of their own accord will all desires for sense, for sensual objects fly away. Suppose I don't like the company of a particular person. I don't talk with him, though he shows his face now and then. The guy will come to know that I have developed a dislike for him. In a few days, of his own accord, he will stop coming to me and he will never like to see me once again. So, one succeeds in driving away the desires for sense enjoyments if only one makes an effort for that. Effort. Unless we put forth our effort, what can we achieve? It is because we cling to sense objects that desire for them does not leave us. So we must get rid of that clinging. That's the point. So how to develop this renunciation? Sri Ramakrishna suggests that we should go into solitude now and then to practice spiritual discipline in order to cultivate devotion to God. Solitude. How many of us are fit to go into solitude? How many of us are really able to sit for a few minutes silently without making any noise? But what is to be done in solitude? What is the meaning of solitude? Not diverting the mind to go anywhere, closing the doors for entry of any outside thoughts into the chamber of the heart. If we keep on practicing this, the mind in course of time gets steadiness, thereby gets purified. That is done by engaging ourselves in prayers, contemplation, and meditation. By these processes, by the association with the holy, we would be able to control all cravings. Controlling of cravings is a must. True solitude life lies beyond the mind and intellect. It is identical with the most tranquil. Therefore, It is better for a beginner to live in the company of holy people, a temple, a chapel, where the spiritual activities are carried on intensely. We must soak our mind in these spiritual activities. We are not unused soaking the mind, but we are soaking the mind in the world, so we are suffering. Soak the mind in the spiritual activities, then you will enjoy the spiritual happiness. Unless you renounce your worldly cravings, how it is possible to soak your mind in the spiritual activities? Unless our mind is turned towards God, we can't see Him. God wants us to see Him directly, not indirectly. Both the eyes must see Him, not one eye. With one eye I will see you, with another eye I will see the world. Again we are deceiving. No. Both the eyes must go. Both the eyes must be targeted to look into the Supreme Paramatman, the divine light. Then only it is possible to break these rock impurities. It follows we must practice Vichara Shakti, discrimination and self-analysis. Self-analysis. Buddhi is meant for that. By self-analysis, you will be practicing Buddhi Yoga. You will develop a technique of understanding the subtle truths of spirituality. By self-analysis, we try to discover the subtle obstacles that obstruct our path to spiritual progress. When we are initiating that process seriously, then we find there are many subtle impressions, habits of thought and action lying dormant and hidden in the subconscious regions of the mind. So, self-analysis is possible not in the marketplace. It is not possible when you engage your whole mind in the world. I am sitting in the office, earning money. Can you have self-analysis there? No. It has to be practiced in a place like this, where that environment is given. Only then we will be able to find out the obstacles. And the next important point we should bear in mind is that after self-analysis, when you pinpoint the drawbacks, then be ready to remove them without compromise. We are ruining ourselves by compromising. For everything we want compromise, concession. We have become so weak, we are not ashamed of taking that concession. Be spiritual heroes. Spiritual heroes. Nothing to be afraid of. We have nothing to seek in this world. I don't want anything in this world. I want nothing but God and God alone. My whole being is offered to God. My whole body is given to Him. My whole mind is given to Him. My all resources are given to Him. My everything is given to Him. When you feel that your whole life is offered to the Paramatman, then when that attitude is well established, then it means the renunciation is complete. We have to practice it. Unless you practice renunciation, you cannot have real love towards God. Sri Ramakrishna is a master of renunciation, has set forth an ideal for everybody to practice it. Let us try to understand these sublime teachings of Sri Ramakrishna and try to follow them in our life as much as we can. Let us not yield to worldliness, worldly cravings, worldly things. Enough of them, enough of them, enough of them. Now I shall continue. These are my few comments about the previous class. And Sri Ramakrishna also finally tells you must follow the instructions from the Guru. It's very important. It helps us to think properly. It inspires us to go forward in our life. It gives immense joy. We feel we are ever protected by the grace of the Guru. The place of Guru in spiritual life is paramount. The more our mind is devoted to the Guru, the more it becomes easy for us in this spiritual life. It is easy for us to swim against the current of this worldliness. Then only it is possible to cross this ocean of worldliness. Samsara sagaram ghoram tattumichati yojanaha gitanavam samarabhya paramyati sukhena saha. This samsara. What is samsara? When the mind is clinging to the world, it is samsara. It is terrible. Why it is terrible? Because every now and then I am feeling pain. My heart is burning. I am not peaceful. The more I become old, the more I am suffering. At least in my young age I could tolerate my suffering. When the nerves have become weak, I can no more tolerate. I cannot die, I cannot live. That is the state. That is the horrible state of worldliness. Just be open-minded and see the things and follow the teachings of Guru with great reverence and devotion. Then you will see how you can cross this ocean of samsara. Page 293. Master said to Ishan, "Tell me if you have any more doubts." Ishan said, "Master, you said everything when you spoke of faith." Sri Ramakrishna said, "God can be realized by true faith alone. And the realization is hastened if you believe everything about God. The cow that picks and chooses its food gives milk only in driblets. But if she eats all kinds of plants, then her milk flows in torrents." Once I heard a story. A man heard the command of God that he should see his ideal deity in a ram. He at once believed it. It is God who exists in all beings. A guru said to his disciple, "It is Rama alone who resides in all bodies." The disciple was a man of great faith. One day, a dog snatched a piece of bread from him and started to run away. He ran after the dog with a jar of butter in his hand and cried again and again, "O Rama, stand still a minute. That bread has not been buttered." What tremendous faith Krishna Kishore had. He used to say, by chanting Om Krishna, Om Rama, one gets the result of 1,000,000 sandhyas. Once he said to me secretly, "I don't like the sandhya and other devotions anymore. But don't tell anyone." Sometimes I too feel that way. The mother reveals to me that she herself has become everything. One day, I was coming from the pine grove toward the Panchavati. A dog followed me. I stood still for a while near the Panchavati. The thought came to my mind that the mother might say something to me through the dog. You were absolutely right when you said that through faith alone one achieves all. Ishan said, "But we are householders. Master said, what if you are? Through his grace, even the impossible becomes possible. Ram Prasad said, this world is a mere framework of illusion. Another man composed a song by a way of reply. He said, this very world is a mansion of mirth. Here I can eat, here drink, make merry. Janaka's might was unsurpassed. What did he lack of the world or the spirit? Holding to one as well as the other, he drank his milk from a brimming cup. One should first realize God through spiritual discipline in solitude and then live in the world. Only then can one be a king of Janaka. What can you achieve otherwise? Further, take the case of Shiva. He has everything: Kartika, Ganesha, Lakshmi and Saraswati. Still, sometimes he dances in a state of divine fervor, chanting the name of Rama, and sometimes he is absorbed in Samadhi. That completes chapter 13. Chapter 14, instruction to Vaishnavas and Brahmos. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room at Dakshineshwar with Rakal, M and other devotees. Hazara sat on the porch outside. The master was conversing with the devotees. He said to the devotees, Narendra does not like even you nowadays. To Master Maharshi, he said, why didn't he come to see me at Adhar's house? How versatile Narendra is. He is gifted in singing, in playing on instruments and in studies. He is independent and doesn't care about anybody. The other day he was returning to Calcutta with Captain in his carriage. Captain begged Narendra to sit beside him, but he took a seat opposite. He didn't even look at Captain. What can a man achieve through mere scholarship? What is indeed his prayer and spiritual discipline? Gauri of Indesh was both a scholar and a devotee. He was a worshipper of the Divine Mother. Now and then he would be overpowered with spiritual fervor. When he chanted a hymn to the Mother, the Pandits would seem like earthworms beside him. I too would be overcome with ecstasy. At first he was bigoted worshipper of Shakti. He used to pick up tulsi leaves with a couple of sticks so as not to touch them with his fingers. All laughed. Then he went home. When he came back, he didn't behave that way anymore. He gave remarkable interpretations of Hindu mythology. He would say that the 10 heads of Ravana represented the 10 organs. Kumbhakarna was the symbol of tamas, Ravana of rajas, and Vibhishana of sattva. That was why Vibhishana obtained favor with Rama. After the master's midday meal, while he was resting, Ram, Tarak and some other devotees arrived from Calcutta. Nityagopal, Tarak and several others were staying with Ram, a household disciple of the master. Nityagopal was always in an exalted spiritual mood. Tarak's mind too was always indrawn. He seldom exchanged words with others. Ram looked after their physical needs. Rakal now and then spent a few days at Adhar's house. Ram said to the master, we have been taking lessons on the drum. Master said to Ram, Nityagopal too? Ram said, no sir, he plays a little. Master said, and Tarak? Ram answered, he knows a good deal. Master said, then he won't keep his eyes on the ground so much. If the mind is much directed to something else, it doesn't dwell deeply on God. Ram said, I have been studying the drum only to accompany the kirtan. Master said to him, I hear that you two are taking singing lessons. Is that so? Master Maharshi replied, no sir, I just open my mouth now and then. Master said, have you practiced that song? Oh mother, make me mad with thy love. If you have, please sing it. The song expresses my ideal perfectly. The conversation turned to Hazra's hatred for certain people, which Sri Ramakrishna did not like. Master said to the devotees, I used frequently to visit a certain house at Kamarpakkar. The boys of the family were of my age. The other day they came here and spent 2 or 3 days with me. Their mother, like Hazra, used to hate people. Then something happened to her foot and gangrene set in. On account of the foul smell, no one could enter her room. I told the incident to Hazra and asked him not to hate anyone. Toward evening, as Sri Ramakrishna was standing in the northwest corner of the courtyard, he went into Samadhi. In those days, the Master remained almost always in an ecstatic state. He would lose consciousness of the world at the slightest suggestion from outside. But for scant conversation with visiting devotees, he remained in an indrawn mood and was unable to perform his daily worship and devotions. Coming down to the relative world, he began to talk to the Divine Mother. Still standing where he was, "O Mother," he said, "worship has left me, and japa also. Please see, Mother, that I do not become an inert thing. Let my attitude toward God be that of the servant toward the Master. O Mother, let me talk about Thee and chant Thy holy name. I want to sing Thy glories. I want to sing Thy glories. Give me a little strength of body that I may move about, that I may go to places where Your devotees live and sing Your name." In the morning, Sri Ramakrishna had been to the Kali temple to offer flowers at the Mother's feet. We shall stop here. Now you can ask one by one all questions. We shouldn't talk too much of renunciation. Now itself it is too... Nobody told you to discard your duties. Renunciation doesn't mean discarding your duties. Renunciation only means keep on the duties, doing the duties, keep on doing the duties, but keep the mind in God. But what happens? We become so duty conscious. We have no time to remember God. Even 5 minutes we can't sit and do anything for God. We have no time even to enter into the chapel and offer our salutations to Him. We are too much occupied with things. We have no time. The other day I asked a question in Dharitri's place. Lot of devotees had come. Satsang program, very good, bhajan, etc. was done. I asked one of the devotees there, "Where is your husband?" "Oh Swami, he got a call." "Call? What call?" "The doctors, whenever they get called, they go immediately." I said, "So, where do you put a full stop to your duty, tell me? Do you mean to say that duty means you have to keep on doing like this all the 24 hours? That means all the 24 hours you should think nothing but money? Then the other things follow. Be ready to take the other things. Bitter things also come. Money doesn't come simply. It brings with all other things also. Restlessness, inertia, all sorts of nerve breaking down. All these things happen. Then don't cry what God has done to me. So renunciation should be practiced amidst your performing duties. Duties minus God gives you negative result. Duties with spiritual attitude gives you immense benefit. We have to unless you practice renunciation, that is, practice renunciation means turning the mind to God, that is called renunciation. Unless you do that, how can you cultivate love towards God? How can you have any interest in the spiritual ideas at all? There is no end for these worldly cravings. That is the truth we are facing. Is there any end? Tell me. Thus far, no further. Can anybody put a full stop? No. So you have to balance. You have to balance. You must develop the technique of balancing your activities in the life. I will do duties. I will remember God also. I will remember God and perform duties. That makes more sense. God must be the center of our duties. Otherwise, what is the use of these duties? Tell me. The parents bring up their children. They work very hard, morning to night. The children grow very well. Parents become very happy. But afterwards, they go away. Probably they may come and show their face on Father's Day and Mother's Day. Just show one. The two, they are showing their face because they can give some gifts, exchange some gifts. That's all. There the matter is over. Is it the way of life? Do the children have developed that kind of love and reverence towards parents? Everything has gone to winds because the spiritual ideas are not given to the children. So everything is thought of from the material plane, just like a business. Why did they take care of me? Because I was born as a child, they are taking care. What speciality is there? Like that, there are people to argue. Do you know? I have heard people talking like that. They demand money. They demand. You must give like that. They sell away all their property, everything for the sake of the child. But the child has no that sense of gratification or that he has to do something in back. No. So that is the heavy price we have to pay for this material way of thinking and acting. But if your mind is well saturated in spiritual ideas, and then do activities nicely, wonderfully well, dignified way, do it. What spiritual way of doing the things? All right, you are carrying on your duties, you are helping your children, very good. But mentally, you are not clinging on to them. You are not clinging on to them. You are giving your service to them just for love's sake, service for service sake. Not to expect anything in return from them. Let them live in their own way. That is spiritual quality. Unless you practice, if you have this ideal and then do your duties, you are peaceful always. Nobody can disturb your peace because your mind is fixed in God and God is peace. Any more doubts? Yeah. There are so many types of people, so many temperaments, so many things, good, bad, vice versa. This is duality. So mind gets into confusion because of duality. Mind is scattered because of this manifold universe, because of duality. But if we think about the unifying self, then it gives a true calmness. We will not be disturbed by the things of this world. We will be always concentrating upon the substance, upon the essence, upon the source, upon the root. That is, our angle of vision gets transformed if we transcend this duality. By renunciation, you will be able to develop your love and devotion to God, and that makes your vision clearer, and you will be able to see this universe, this manifold universe is nothing but God Himself. God Himself in everything. God Himself in so many forms. You will feel that oneness of divinity. You will hate nobody. That's the result of concentrating our attention on the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, the soul of all souls. We must fix our mind in the Paramatman, then see the duality. It doesn't matter. It doesn't disturb us. As long as your mind is not disturbed, you are not to bother about it. If the mind gets disturbed, then you must analyze it. Self-analysis, as I said. Analyze yourself. What is the cause of this? Why it happened like that? You will be able to find it out. Once you find out the culprit, then very easy to take action against the culprit. That's all. The point is, keeping away from them is to see that our mind does not develop any hatred towards anybody. Because first you must concentrate all your energy to realize God. So if your mind runs away here and there on account of some persons, then how can you realize God? So in order to protect that, what we do, you love God, try to concentrate upon realizing the truth. After realization, then that question doesn't arise. You will not hate anybody. You will love everyone because you see your own self is manifested to everyone. But in the beginning, it may cause some trouble because we are not yet trained to have that outlook. So in order to take precautions, we follow this way. That is, even loving also, you love because you love God, so you love Him or her. It's because of your love towards God you are loving Him or her. That attitude helps you a lot. Once you bring in the idea of God, that means it stretches out that you must love everyone. That's the meaning of loving God. You can't say, I love this man, I hate that man. No. Then your love towards God is not complete. So, like that we should analyze ourselves and practice the ideal in our own way. That's all. Yeah. Shraddha. Faith is not the correct translation of the word Shraddha. Shraddha is more comprehensive. Yeah. But there is no other way to give the exact meaning of the Shraddha. So, we use it as faith. So, whenever you use the faith, you have to understand the meaning of the faith in the particular context, how it is said, in what manner it is said. Accordingly, you must draw the conclusion. Shraddha means not merely faith. Faith is simply to believe. That's the simple meaning of the faith. Shraddha means your whole being is involved. Suppose you are doing flower vases. Tomorrow Brahmanji's birthday. You have come morning, you have brought flowers. Your whole mind is sitting there. Your whole mind, your whole body, your whole constitution is sitting there. Even you are not aware of eating or drinking. That is called Shraddha. Yeah. Total involvement. Engaging oneself totally, completely, in full. That is called Shraddha. Dedication. Putting all your resources. Full concentration. That's called Shraddha. What is, if you understand Ashraddha, then you will understand the value of Shraddha more. Ashraddha means, for example, you are sitting here for meditation. You are remembering God. Your mind is looking at God. You are thinking about Him. Suddenly, some phone call comes. as something comes, immediately you don't think it is seriously, and you get up and go and attend the phone and then come and sit again. No, the Shraddha is broken there. When you are at it, you will never stir out until that is over. Now I am talking about the ideal of Shraddha. Yeah. Of course, suppose if there is one man here, he has to attend everything. He has to attend phone call, he has to talk to people, he has to attend doorbell, and he has to sit here, etc., etc. To that extent, it gets diluted. To tell you the fact, it gets diluted. So, we have to organize the things in a proper way. Shraddha means discipline. It includes discipline. That's why I am telling the word cannot be translated exactly. In fact, a person, Professor Sheshgir Rao, has written a thesis on Shraddha, a big book. He got doctorate, PhD for that. Beautifully written. It was in our library. There was only one copy. Somebody must have taken. It is not to be found there. But you can get it in Chicago Library. Chicago Library will get everything. Please read that book. Shraddha in Upanishad, Shraddha in the Vedas, Shraddha in the Gita, Shraddha in the Puranas. Oh, fantastic description. Fantastic. If you read it, as you keep on reading, you will feel joy. You see, Nachiketa's Shraddha, because of his Shraddha, he got the knowledge of Atman from Yama. His Shraddha was rooted in his practice of Brahmacharya. So like that. Shraddha includes, Shraddha means sincerity. See, it has got various shades, facets I should say. It has got many facets. Then only it's called Shraddha. Many facets. Suppose you are doing flower vases, you are very sincere about it. You want everything should be done correctly, properly. It should look very well, not simply well. That is Shraddha. I must do it perfectly. That zeal to do perfectly, that is Shraddha. Zealousness. Today I must sit and I must achieve something. What is this? Every day running. Sit. Order the mind to sit down. Just as you order your dog to sit. Let the mind sit. That is Shraddha. Now, as long as we are dealing in this world, be prepared to take all the things of the reactions that come out of them. That's all the truth. That's all the truth. If you feel it is important to deal, if you want to discriminate what is good, what is bad, who is good man, who is bad man, even that interpretation also is questionable because it depends upon my way of thinking. To me, one man looks good, to another man, the same man may look bad. So, but the point is as long as we are dealing with persons like this, as long as we are in the realm of this type of activity, surely we are getting the reactions from all the activities which we undertake. We have to swallow them. But if you maintain your spiritual approach and spiritual ideal and spiritual attitude and spiritual ways, then you will develop the capacity of not getting affected even though something happens because of certain reasons. Because your mind is grounded in spiritual values, you are not perturbed. Unlike the ordinary worldly people who are disturbed, who are shaken terribly, who cannot breathe, who become so angry, who do not hesitate to go and shoot him to that extent. There are people like that. There's a difference. So you develop steadiness. In spite of all these things, you maintain your equanimity in the mind. That is important. So, when you have to deal with, when there is no other way but to go away, because when you are walking in the forest, you can't say there won't be wild animals. First of all, I am walking in the forest. So animals must be there. It's taken for granted. And it is also true that we will be confronted by wild animals. That's also true. So we will be confronted by wild animals, and there are snakes, there are poisonous snakes. It is not unknown. It is known to me. Forest means all these things will be there. That means I have to move carefully. See and watch yourself and go. Watch yourself, take precautions and go. Like that, you have to take precautions and move in this world. When you have to move in the world. World is like that. So they prescribe various methods. You try to dissociate with bad people, that means people who have got bad tendencies. Avoid them. It is just like to remove one thorn, use another thorn to remove the one thorn. Remove the first thorn by using the second thorn. Then throw away both the thorns. Both are thorns. Like that, when you are dealing this world, you have to behave in such a way that your ideal is not disturbed in the process. It is not easy. That's true. It is true. When I am walking in the forest, it is not safe. Any time tiger may come, lion may come, anything may happen. That is how the world. That is why we are not sure of what is going to happen next moment. So why don't you think of God and make your life blessed? That's the thing. That's the only way. Sri Ramakrishna has said very differently. Avoid bad company. That is why the Association of Holy Company has got importance. Because of this. Sat and Asat. What is real, what is unreal. What is worldly, what is non-worldly. What is spiritual, what is not. That's the thing. But suppose if you have to take to a task a person who is working under you, suppose he is not behaving properly, he is not doing the work properly, certainly you are falling from the duty if you don't point out, you have to be stern. But inside your heart of heart, you don't have any revenge. You do it just for the sake of doing it, not for anything else. That attitude one has to develop. That's the thing. By feeling yourself you are the servant of God, by surrendering your aham to Sri Ramakrishna. Put your ego there, then go anywhere you want. All right, we shall stop here. Jai Ramakrishna. Tomorrow evening we have got Swami Brahmanandaji special puja. Swami Brahmanandaji's birthday we are observing. He was the first president of the Ramakrishna order, the great spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, the author of Eternal Companion, master of meditation. 6 o'clock evening arati, then bhajans for half an hour. Then the worship of Swami Brahmanji begins at 7 p.m. All of you please try to come to these programs and tune yourself properly to this spiritual activity. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord. In each and every name Thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder, O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.